I've grown up my entire life in Clinton, Iowa. Both my parents were born here. It was a great place to grow up and raise a family and experience life in a small town on the Mississippi River. People here are hardworking, they are loyal, dedicated, and we've got customers that we've sold various generations, dozens and dozens of vehicles.
McEleney's for years have been a cornerstone in Clinton's economy.
My grandfather and his brother, Leo and Emmett McEleney, started the business in 1914. They had a machine shop. They didn't know how to drive. They went out and acquired a used car, and I think it was a Jeffrey, and they learned to drive, and they were in the car business. In 1926, we obtained our first franchise with General Motors, Oldsmobile. When World War II occurred, there were no new cars to be built, so dealers had to look for other sources of revenue. My grandfather started a bowling alley. We actually had a 6-lane bowling alley. It was called the Olds Bowl, and this is what they did to make a living. Shortly after World War II, my dad decided to become an automobile dealer, and at the age of about 28, 29 years old, with 8 or 9 employees, he was the Oldsmobile dealer in Clinton, Iowa. I came from a large family, one of 7 children. There was never a dull moment around our house. My mother and dad provided a great example, a great environment for us growing up. I went to college at the University of Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana. When I finished school in the early 70s, I was not planning to come back in the business. And my dad said to me, John, he said, why don't you come back for a year, come back, work in the dealership, and see what you think. And if you choose not to continue, that's fine, you'll have other options. And so I did. And it just got in my blood, and now 35 years later, you know, I've never regretted that decision.
My dad is very much a straight shooter. He's meticulous, and he's very, very well informed about everything that's going on in his dealerships, and he really gives his managers and employees a chance to lead and to make lots of good decisions on their own with his counsel and advice.
John, I think, runs what I would consider to be a relatively a tight ship. He's very focused, has a great vision, and I think he does a good job of communicating that to us.
What I've learned from John is whenever you face a decision, and it's a decision as far as what you need to do in regards to whether it be an employee or a customer, always err on the side of that employee or the customer. John is the most fair person that I've ever met or worked with.
John has a type of reputation that everyone would want. He's regarded as a professional. He has ethical practices in the business. He's considered a no-nonsense business person, and he's a good family man.
We've been married, this is a test now, 34 years. In May, a year after college, we got married.
We'll be married 35 years in May. We have 2 children, Allison and Drew, and Allison is married, has a wonderful husband, Keegan, and they have a son, Carter, who's 14 months old.
My dad's got an excellent reputation in the community. He feels giving back to the community is very, very important.
The Clinton High School earlier this year embarked on a $4 million campaign, and John McEleney was one of the first visits I made. John called me about 2 weeks later and said, Rob, we've met, and this is definitely something we want to get behind, and a lot of other businesses jumped on board after that.
We place a great deal of value, both I do personally and our company does, on community involvement, and I think it's important anywhere, and dealers by nature are involved in their communities all over the country. I'm really looking forward to being NADA chairman because I've been so close to NADA over the years, and I realize that the importance it has for dealers. And I think right now especially, I'm looking forward to the opportunity to being at the center of things and helping to have an impact when we've got so many historical issues facing the industry and facing auto dealers.
Because of the leadership role that he has in the National Auto Dealers Association, he's been a great resource to me in talking about issues. We're going to be focused on continuing to do everything and everything on behalf of dealers to make sure they have a seat at the table to help them deal with the economic stresses, with the reorganization of the manufacturers, particularly the Detroit Three. With the new Obama administration coming into Washington, there's going to be a different attitude in Washington. We have to build new relationships there, and particularly in this environment, that's going to be of critical importance. The current economic crisis is a difficult thing to endure, but I think any time we go through a period like that, history has proven this,
we get stronger as a result. I think at the end of the day, when we get through this, we will be leaner, we will be more effective, more profitable, and I'm looking forward to that.
I think John is going to be a wonderful NADA chairman because he loves this business.
I think the city of Clinton is extremely proud that John would be elected the incoming chair. I think it's a great honor to think that one of our own would be in such a prestigious position.
One of the most important qualities of any chairman of a national association is somebody who is highly respected, highly motivated, and has a calm demeanor when there's a crisis going on. John fits all of those characteristics.
He always has a clear vision of where he wants to go.
He's driven and he's very passionate about the car business. I feel very fortunate to be a fourth generation of the McEleney family in the auto business, and that really does mean a lot to me, and I know means a great deal to my dad.
My father is very proud of the fact that I will be NADA chairman this year. He was the first president, now called chairman, elected from the state of Iowa, and I will be the first father-son combination to have that honor. I love going to work every day. It's exciting interacting with customers. We have a great group of employees. They are invigorating, they're motivating, and I just can't imagine doing anything else.